In this video, we're going to go over the review. So it says circle the initial amount in the blue color. So initial amount is the y-intercept. It's also our a value. So it's our a value. Now our b value, which is what has the exponent, is 4 over 3. And that's our pattern. It's how we get to the next y. And then our exponent is x, and that's what makes the graph curve, because we're raising the x value, the input, to a power or as an exponent. So in the next slide, what you're going to do, all you're doing is transferring that equation over to make the table. So type in the equation, and then the instruction said to click the gear, and then to actually click the table. Now all I wanted you to do was transfer that information onto slide 9 again, and then just write it down. So then we have -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. And then I recommend writing all of the decimals down. So I got that from slide 10. Now this table of values is made possible by this number right here, 4 over 3. That is our constant ratio. That's our b value. So if you put in the calculator this decimal and times it by 4 over 3, you're going to get this decimal. Times this by 4 over 3, you're going to get 0.5. Times that by 4 over 3, you're going to get 0.66 repeated, so on and so forth. So the b tells you the pattern. Now, on slide 11, it's asking you for the initial value. So same thing that we just got done doing. It's our y-intercept, and that's our a value. So that should be a 6, sorry. And then our b value. Take two y values that are right next to each other. Put them upside down. 24 goes on top. 12 goes on bottom. You get a 2. That's your b value. That's your pattern. Now if you put that into the equation, y equals 6 times 2 raised to the x power, you're going to get the equation that works. Now if you don't want to do 24 over 12, you can do 12 over 6, 6 over 3. They're all going to get you that 2 value because that's the pattern. Now to answer these questions, how far left does our graph go? It goes forever to the left, negative infinity. How far right does it go? It goes all the way to positive infinity. So our graph never stops going left or right. However, for the range, it's trying to get to 0. It's trying to get the y to be 0. You're going to get 0.00008 or 0.0000007. It's never going to get to 0. And then if you notice, the graph is going to go upwards forever. So that's why we call it positive infinity. You already determined what the y-intercept was, and that's 0, 6. And then the asymptote is the y equals 0. Remember that these numbers right here, the lowest y value is going to be the same number for the asymptote. And then for number 12, same idea. Once again, we're going to begin at 6. That's our y-intercept. Our b-value is from the table. I'm going to stay away from the decimal. I'm going to start from the bottom up. I chose 3 divided by 6. 3 divided by 6 is 1 over 2. So that's going to be my b value. Put that into 6 times 1 divided by 2. Make sure the x is in the exponent. And there you go. The domain is going to be the same as it was. It's going to try its hardest to go left and right forever. So we call that negative infinity to positive infinity. It's going to try its hardest to go down to 0 and up to positive infinity. Y-intercept is 0, 6. And then the asymptote is y equals 0. Now for our last slide, we have negative 4,239 to the 0, so that's going to get us a negative 1. Now we have x to the third over y to the negative 2. The only negative exponent we have is on the bottom, so we need to move it to the top. Now you can keep it like this, or you don't have to write the 1, just keep the negative sign. That will both be correct. Number 3, I know I mistyped this, sorry. The only negative exponent is x to the negative 4, so keep y to the 4th on top, move x to the 3rd down. That's your final answer. Now notice how the third problem, which is not number 2, this is wrapped up in parentheses, so that's really a 1. So we have 1 on top. Now let's look at negative exponents. We have 2 of them. They're both on the bottom, so both need to move top. Now you can keep that 1, but usually on multiple choice tests, they don't have the 1. So you could just write x to the 5th. Sorry, that should say z to the 2nd divided by y to the 3rd. And then lastly, negative 6, that's just a negative base, so it just stays. So does a to the 3rd, because that is a positive exponent. So does c to the 5th, that's a positive exponent. Now b to the negative needs to go up. D to the negative 3 needs to go down. Now I would mark this one correct as well, but technically you should put it in ABC order, which I will also mark correct. So either or is fine. Miss C and myself will be grading these, so we know that these two are actually, identical. Does not matter if you do an ABC order, because we will be grading them by hand.